Hey guys, welcome to League of Legends Champions in Preseason 2023. Let's see what's in store.
Hey everyone,
Let's go.
I'm Ryan Reeve Morales, lead producer of Gameplay on League.
Hello there.
You might remember me from all those champion roadmaps, but today, for reasons I can't even fathom, they put me in front of a camera again to talk about all of League this time. So buckle up as I dive into some of the champions we have in development. After that, I'm going to pass the
more champions
metaphorical mic over to Riot Froxon, who is going to talk to you about the recent durability update as well as our plans for preseason.
Alright. That's what you got.
So before we get
so far the new champions, nothing really excited me.
into the new champions coming up this year, let's take a quick look back at the champions we've released in 2022 so far. First we had the speedy ADC Zeri. Then the girl.
She's a bit annoying towards the end game when she's like really fast, she's hard to catch, but besides that, nothing special. She's a cool support.
After that, the Void Empress herself, Bel'Veth.
I think a lot of people were disappointed with Bel'Veth with the whole human figure. They wanted like a pure monster champ.
And just around the corner, we have the Udyr VGU, complete with a dad bod worthy of the Freljordian god.
I think a lot of people are happy about the Udyr rework.
Udyr's development has been a long journey.
It was about time.
Especially since he's been the first VGU that we've done that's had an ultimate skin. We appreciate you all being patient with us on this one, and hopefully
took
the
years.
wait has been worth it.
Years, man. Alright, see what's up.
So in addition to the new champions we've released this year, we've also been shipping a lot of Midscope updates to various champions, including Janna, Ahri, Swain, Taliyah, Olaf, and recently Sivir. Because we
Sivir is super played at the moment.
Slowed down the release of new champions, we've had a bit more time to ship smaller updates to champions on the roster that have fallen behind the pack. So the goal of Midscope updates isn't to reimagine a champion's visuals, theme, or gameplay. That's reserved for VGUs. Instead, we want to freshen up champions that aren't living up to the expectations of the players who love them.
That's good.
We try to...
And a lot of these like old champions are kind of like a bit outdated, right? You have like a new champion coming up as like 64 passives, and the old champions have like one lane passive. It's time to update them.
Strengthen their fantasy even more, rather than reinvent it. So for Swain, we pushed his fantasy of an unkillable frontline mage to the max. And for Ahri, we focused on her fantasy of a mobile mage, rather than the assassin.
She's very annoying. She's very hard to gank.
We saw really great responses to these projects, as well as healthy play rate spikes after their release.
Good.
Given all of this, we want to keep pursuing Midscope updates, and we already have a few champions we're exploring, including Nico and Syndra.
Okay. Alright.
So now let's talk about some projects I've been super excited to share with you. So later this year, we have a new top lane tank hailing from Shurima, who I briefly mentioned in the last champion roadmap. This new champion will introduce a part of Shurima that we haven't explored yet, the city of Nezuma.
Looks very Aztec-like, right? Or Mayan or something.
Now, Azuma is an oasis city-state in the southern outskirts of the desert, and
freaking Riot, man.
Unlike the rest of Shurima, they don't bow to Azir. Situated on one of the only water sources for miles, the people of Nezuma had to compete with giant monsters just trying to stay hydrated. It was a hard-fought struggle, but they eventually claimed the oasis as their
Yo, is the mic CGI? I don't think that's a real mic.
own, and built their society around it. Now, 500 years later, this new champion leads
200 years of experience,
to hunt those
all new champions.
Monsters, using the rare resources they gained to build their infrastructure and weapons.
Aphelios.
He actually fought one of the largest monsters the desert has ever known, creating his unique Entofos out of its rare regenerating hide.
Regenerating hide. Here we go. Top tank. Forget it.
Huge blunt weapons that can be used defensively, but at any moment he can shatter them, revealing carefully crafted blades capable of tearing through any foe in seconds.
Why am I getting like old Aatrox vibes?
Soon after, the hide will regenerate back to its blunt form, so he can like bludgeon the crap out of it.
Never mind.
It's honestly quite impressive to see. But you don't have to take my word for it. The entire city-state is basically permanently impressed by him. I mean, he's Kasanti, the pride of Nazuma. You
Sounds
don't
like
get that
Rengar
title
or
for
something.
nothing. So after Kasanti, we will be
Oh, we're not getting any images, gameplay, nothing?
releasing the highly anticipated Aurelion Sol CGU. To remind everybody, a CGU, or Comprehensive Gameplay Update, is a new type of update we are testing out on Aurelion Sol. So the goal is to completely reimagine Asol's gameplay without changing his visuals or narrative at all. Since let's be honest, those aspects of Aurelion Sol are still amazing, even by today's standards.
Looks like they learned their lesson with the old Aatrox and old Scion, right? Which they completely changed the gameplay. Nobody played them no more back in the day. Also, I haven't seen Aurelion Sol in a year,
but
2
I know
years.
What you're thinking. Less talking, Mr. Reeve, more action. And by action, we mean videos.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Twist my arm a little bit more, will you?
This guy is giving such weird vibes. He looks very comfortable, but at the same time, I don't know, he looks boring almost. But
now keep in mind, the visuals
He's doing alright,
still a work in progress.
He's doing alright.
One of the goals was to enhance his dragon theme. And what do dragons do?
What do you got?
Well, they breathe fire, of course. Asol's new Q allows him to breathe fire for as long as he has mana to do it.
Kind of like Anivia's R, except, you know, in a line, or what's his name? Rumble's Q, was it?
But let's not forget the other thing dragons do: fly. His new W allows him to take to the skies, but this time he doesn't have to walk in a straight line for like ever.
Right.
He can now fly with the push of a button. But really, let's be honest.
Cool, I guess.
He's a dragon, and if there's one thing more iconic than either flying or breathing fire, it's flying while breathing fire, which you can do by combining his Q and W.
Interesting.
We did it.
Interesting.
So after Aurelion Sol, we have a champion I've been literally...
But again, those people who like, you know, the four mains of Aurelion Sol who are still playing the game, I'm sure they're playing it because they enjoy the spinning circles there, the spheres, and that looks like it's gone. Maybe it's still there in another skill. I don't know, but it looks like it's gone, so those people ain't gonna be happy. But it looks cool. It looks original.
To talk to you about. One of the things the League community hounds me about constantly is wanting to see more Darkin champions. Darkin fans are like, throw me a frickin' bone here. And believe you me, I'm right there with you, barking for some Darkin.
I don't know, this guy sounds like so comfortable, yet so uncomfortable at the same time. It's so weird.
Then one night, at around 2:34 a.m., I woke up in a fever sweat. And at that moment, it hit me. I'm on the champions team. If I want more Darkin, I can just talk to the team about it. And gosh dang it, I did just that. And the team was like, heck yeah, we want more Darkin as well. We love Darkin. So yeah, long story short.
In my opinion, they shouldn't have made Varus a Darkin. He should have been kept separate. The Darkin look very different from what Varus does. Unless they want to like redo his appearance. But, you know, you look at Kayn, you look at Aatrox and Red Kayn, of course, and they look very similar. Then you got somebody like Varus, which doesn't really fit in. I don't know why they, like, retconned it, but if they do want to make him a Darkin, they should, like, really keep his appearance. Because I believe there's only 7 of them? I think it was 7, right? 7 legendary weapons?
Making a new Darkin assassin. So I know what you're going to ask next. What's the weapon? Each Darkin is trapped in some super awesome weaponry. Please tell us what it is. We must know. And while I love watching you all squirm beneath my intricate yet vague champion roadmap teasers, I'm not going to be that cruel today. The weapons are like the coolest part about Darkin after all.
And again, a bow for a Darkin weapon?
So this one was actually trapped in a dagger, which is now...
Called it.
A Darkin dagger, of course, because that's how that works.
And it's an assassin.
And here's what it looks like. Ooh, so edgy, so dark.
And of course, you know, the presence of eyes, again, something that Varus's weapon doesn't have. And I know they explain, like, in the lore, like, you know, he conquered the weapon or something, kind of like Blue Kayn. I think that's what happened, but I'm not buying it.
And as to who or what got a hold of these daggers, well, you'll just have to wait and find out. Another...
No, I was gonna say Cat's brother, but that's Talon, isn't it? Or was it what's the girl with the falcon there? Her brother, no? I'm sure, because the way he says, like, somebody grabbed a hold of the daggers, meaning somebody we heard about?
A lot of people have
Possibly?
been asking to see progress on is the Ari update that we announced at season start.
Don't care.
Well, the ASU team has been hard at work and is ready to share some art.
Then again, Ari is so popular that I'm not surprised.
Like the final composition seen here.
Mm-hmm.
The base version is close to complete, and the team is super excited to show you some of the progress on how she's looking in-game.
Looks good.
Look at all those sweet polygons.
Yeah, it looks good.
And here's a sneak peek of her updated VFX.
It just, you know what sucks if you're playing, like, less popular champs. You see all these, like, very popular champs getting, like, 60 skins a year, updates, gameplay updates, visual updates, stories. They appear in different games, and your champion hasn't received the skin in, like, 8 years, and, like, nobody really cares. That's kind of, like, what sucks, I wish they would spread the love a bit more, but, Ari brings in the big bucks, so...
She still has a ton of skins that also need to be updated. So she still needs a little more time in the Foxfire oven before we can get her in your hands. But you can expect to see her sometime early next year. So that's about it for champion news. Though I will leave you with one small thing.
What's up?
On top of wanting a new Darkin, we've seen a lot of players asking us to expand on Ixtal. We've also heard you asking for us to make a male enchanter. Well, I say, why not both?
Support.
I'm happy to say we have right now, in very early development, a new male enchanter from Ixtal.
Okay.
The new champion will show a very different side to Ixtal, far from the lavish palaces Kiana grew up in. So take a look at this art teaser that the team working
Bard?
on and put together. Oh my god, they're so adorable. Well, that's enough cuteness for now. So as promised, let's hear from Riot Froxon on the champion durability update and preseason.
Alright. Let's do it.
Hey everyone, I'm Matthew Long Harrison, aka Riot Froxon, lead game designer on the Summoner's Rift team. We work on things like balancing the game, in-game systems like the durability update and items, and preseason. I've got a few things to cover today, so let's jump right into it. A few patches ago, we launched the champion durability update. Our goal was to increase the durability and reduce the damage and healing of every champion in the league. We've been closely monitoring the results, and after some targeted adjustments, we're really happy with where the update landed. A lot of you have mentioned how much you like the update, and that it feels good to have fights last longer with more chances for skill expression.
Yeah.
And we're glad that it helped make League feel fresher. That said, we don't have plans to make changes of this size outside of preseason in the future, unless it's really necessary.
Okay.
What we don't want is for huge changes like this to disrupt League's competitive integrity, especially in the middle of the season. Speaking of which, let's talk about our plans for preseason. Similar to last year, we're making more targeted changes to various systems. Our multi-year goal
the dragons were a good idea, by the way.
Is to bring everything in League up to modern standards before doing updates on the scale of Runes Reforged, Elemental Rift, or the item update again. So for this preseason, we're updating systems including communication and vision, making the jungle more exciting and accessible, and bringing back a familiar foe.
Oh? Who?
Our communication system is showing its age, especially in comparison to some of our other games. So we're giving it some much needed attention with new
Voice
features
chat?
that'll make it easier to communicate with
I don't want to hear voice chat in League. That's like hell on earth.
your team and walk away with the win. To that, we're expanding our in-game ping system to allow for better communication with your team.
That makes more sense.
The current system only lets you share very basic communications. And while we appreciate your ingenuity with the limited pings you
Especially like when people like ping you 64 times. I don't know what's up with 64 today. I keep getting stuck on that number.
have, we wanted to give you more opportunity for clearer communication. The updated pings will include everything you already know and love, plus expanded vision options and a call to engage.
Oh, that's cool.
We're also thinking about ways to emphasize pings with
that's
teammates,
interesting.
plan macro strategy for objectives, and keep track of where pings are on the map, even if they're off your screen. In addition to the changes to communication, we're making some small improvements to the vision system, as it's a bit outdated. It's not super clear that you can swap vision trinkets, and it's definitely not clear how you can best utilize them. To that, we're exploring ways to make vision trinkets more intuitive.
Okay, sure.
You'll be able to see how many wards you have on the map, and preview where they'll go when placing them in walls.
That's fine. That's good.
Another focus this year is the jungle. We know it's often a highly stressful role where you need heaps of knowledge to be baseline proficient.
You just need practice, really. So basically, like, you're in lane, you gotta know your lane matchups. You're in jungle, you gotta know your timers and your gang routes. It's kind of like, you know, it balances out.
A lot riding on junglers, as they're often the backbone of the team's strategy, while sometimes getting unjustly flamed.
Every game.
So we're looking to make some change.
I played a bit of jungle lately. It's my second role after top, right? So I know what's up. I mean, if you're doing bad, even though it's not your fault, it's your fault, no matter what happens, you know?
Just to make jungle...
Your mid goes like 0-6 in the first 5 minutes, it's your fault.
...more intuitive, and to help alleviate some of its more painful parts. Our first change is improving buff sharing.
Oh?
Donating buffs to your laners is an important part of being a jungler.
Double buffs?
It feels bad to lose the gold, experience, and
yeah, no, oh my god, I freaking hate that. You're jungling, and then your laner just goes and takes your jungle, while his lane is pushing to his tower, you know?
Right. We're exploring a bunch of things to make this more painless to junglers, like buffs leaving behind a little friend that also has a buff, and a few other potential directions.
Oh?
We're also looking at ways of improving jungle camp patience rules. The goal of this change is to make it so you don't get overly punished by accidentally pulling camps too far. You shouldn't have to know exactly what pixel to stand on to do red buff and raptors at the same time without one resetting.
Okay, I got you.
So we're making changes that will make it less punishing when that happens. We know some junglers like to hyper-optimize their clears, and we want that knowledge to be rewarded. We'll still keep unique, optimal clears for different champions, like Kayn starting raptors and Shaco doing whatever it is he does. All this said, we're not trying to make mastering jungle easier, but we do want to make it easier to start jungling.
Okay.
We still want you to be rewarded for taking the time to master your role and champions.
For new players, you know?
There are some other improvements we're exploring for the jungle, but it's still too early to share more, so we'll check back in later.
That's it? Oh, is the camp tech coming back? Is that it?
The final preseason change we want to talk about today is the long-awaited return of everyone's favorite...
I guess it makes sense. They only, like, you know, temporarily suspended the Drake. They're bringing it back. I mean, they got the acid, they got everything, right? So for sure they want to bring it back.
Drake. The Chemtech Drake.
Right.
While we're bringing Chemtech Drake back from the dead, she won't bring you back from the dead anymore.
Oh.
Instead, the new and improved Chemtech Soul grants more damage and damage reduction when you're low health. And when the Chemtech Drake takes over the rift, the plants on the map mutate and become empowered.
Oh.
For example,
that's way better than the fog, I gotta admit.
Rise Bloom will grant movement speed when moving towards revealed enemies, and Blast Cone will take you further than ever before. Like from
that's
blue buff
cool.
to mid lane. We still have other
maybe not so cool for mid laners. You're gonna have the jungle just like pop into your lane right in your face. You're screwed.
Plans for preseason, including the usual updates and tweaks to items and runes. And we'll share more information about our plans for these, and everything we discussed today as we get close to preseason.
Alright.
That's all I have today. Thanks for watching, and let us know what you think about everything you heard. I'll hand things back to Reeve to say goodbye.
Thanks, Roxanne. So as you can see, we have a lot of exciting things in development.
Not as much as last year. Nothing too crazy changed. No new items, or like, you know, no new jungle. Besides the Chem Drake, which was introduced last time, but nothing too crazy this time, you know?
And as always, I've had a
no
blast
mythics,
finally
you know?
sharing all this cool stuff the team has been working on with all of you. Wait. Yeah? So I'm hearing that there is one last thing we forgot to show you all.
Oh?
You all remember the skin line you voted for at the beginning of the year, right? I think it was the Gothic skin line revamp.
Oh yeah, I did vote for that. It's true, yeah.
Well, our skins team has been hard at work reimagining that skin line, and they really want to share a bit of it with you now.
Do it, yeah.
So it's time for me to say goodbye, bye, and time for all of you to see some sweet concept art for the new Fright Night skins.
Oh shit, nice. Draven, chainsaws. Renata, drone wings, okay. Urgot, nice. Trundle. Annie, of course. Cool. It looks cool. Looks cool. Looks cool. It looks cool. Yeah, very interesting. Some cool changes in there. Nothing too crazy, I would say, this year. It's fairly contained. I guess I gotta wait for next year for the big changes that will shake up the gameplay. And there's the Chem Drake that's back. But I think I think the game is in a good state right now. I haven't seen anything like too crazy going on. It's still very fun. I've been playing this for freaking since the beginning, so I'm still playing this game, which is kind of crazy. It has that power, over your soul. Once you get in, you can't leave, right? But it's still very enjoyable. Toxic as hell, but I love it. Nothing wrong with that. Unless you're not used to it, of course. So yeah, cool. Always a pleasure to see these updates. It's always cool when like Riot comes up and shares their plans. It's the transparency is really cool. It's a good idea. Stay in touch with the community and whatnot. Have a bit of fun. Pull up some memes. Cool presentation. That's it for me. Thank you for watching. Peace.